So stage two. The main primary focus of stage two is then to take our proof of concept and industrial prototype systems and then to multi-scale it. And to start not taking just multi-scaling different variations of this technology. For instance, one would be more predominantly in a desert region. One would be better for an urban environment. One would be better for a rural place. All of them have different, price tags, different purposes, different uses. The private model that actually sits underneath your computer, the one that runs entire servers, helping to make the internet green. Taking all of that, taking that technology and then hyperscaling it, and then being able to start the process of leasing and developing, working with nonprofits, for-profits, government agencies, independent people, and starting to massively apply this technology. That's really the core of stage two. It's designed to hyperscale the effectiveness and the implementation of this technology. So stage two. Stage two's entire basis really revolves around the multi-application of the technology. Meaning, making various scales and versions of it that have different outputs and have different uses, but showing how diverse the technology is. Taking what we did in the first stage and then applying it in multiple places. Everything from the tabletop unit to one that powers a computer, to one that powers an entire server system, to ones that are going into urban areas to ensure no more blackouts ever, and to lower the overall emission and carbon rate. Rural development ones to high industrial ones. That's what the second stage is primarily about, showing the fact that this technology can literally be put anywhere on the planet in a very, very cost-effective way. That's the point of number two. 3. Stage 3. This is the cool time. This is the really awesome part. This is when we start implementing the technology. The primary focus of 3 is to take all of these scalable versions of it that we've made very public, that we've shown the world, that we said, you cannot deny this exists, you're not going to be able to stop it from happening. Here it is. And we start reaching out to the world and implementing it. We start working with governments, nonprofit organizations, for-profit organizations. We start leasing it. We start fundraising it in various sources to ensure that both economically advantaged places and economically disadvantaged places get access to this technology. This is when things start getting really cool. That's the stage 3 area. It's all about taking it and actually implementing it and selling huge volumes of it on one end, but also working with various organizations so that we can give away large portions of it to people who can't afford it. That's the time when people start working together. That's the part where people really start amping it up and saying, you know what? We can actually change the world. We can change our attitude toward this. We can stop shouting at each other and make this work. That's 3. That's when it gets interesting. So I'm hoping we do everything in our power, working with anyone who's watching this, anybody here, mammals from all over the world. I'm hoping that we can do everything we can to get to stage 3, because that is when it's awesome. So in closing, I want to thank everybody first for being here. This is really cool. But the main thing that I would say in closing is a quick reminder of why. And the why for this isn't going to be a sales pitch. It's not going to be a why about Illumina Iptical as a group. It's not going to be why about the technology. It's going to be why as a human. Why is it important to care about things that are beyond us? Well, the truth is, the things that are beyond us affect all of us in one way or the other, whether we like it or not. There's an old saying out there that, it says, a guy says, I don't believe in the devil. He says, well, that's okay. It doesn't matter if you do or not. I always found that as a very interesting point, and not to indicate whether or not you believe in this or not, but the idea, if something exists, whether you acknowledge it or not, it will affect you. Ignoring it isn't going to work. saying there it is, but I'm going to look this way isn't going to work. Denying it isn't going to work. There are things that are occurring on this planet that it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, how much money you make, or even what you believe in, they are going to affect you and the people you love. So I always say, if you want to ask me why I'm doing this, it's because people need to. So the last thing I'll say to you is this, to quote the immortal Dr. Seuss. If one person cares enough, cares a whole lot, only then is the world going to change. Something like that. But anyway, I'm Eric Fortune, and I hope you support Illuminiptical.